Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Full Gear. I'll be giving my predictions and let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen. If you need a link to purchase a VPN so that you can watch the pay per views cheaper, my link will be down below. And also, I'll have a video in the description. You can click on that link so you can see how you can be able to use a VPN and get the pay per views much cheaper. If not, the pay per views are available on payperview.com and Amazon, and it'll cost you $50, but you can use Max, and that will cost you $40. And yes, that is plus tax. Let's talk about our predictions for the pay per view. All right, you guys. So, y'all know the drill. We have the pay per view on Saturday, which is going to be on the 22nd of November. We have the tailgate brawl that's going to come on first. So, we do have a few of those matches before we have the main card. So, let's go over that. Now, we do have the Boom and Doom, which is a QT and the Pizza People Dad, going against Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. If you're watching Ring of Honor, then you've been watching this play out for quite some time right now, and QT and the Pizza People Dad somehow are friends. Like, I don't know his name, whatever his name is, but we've seen him a few times on AEW. The story had gotten a little bit better earlier on Ring of Honor today, so there's been some improvements, and it's looking like Boom and Doom is going to end up taking the win, which I'm really not into. After this, we have the Workhorsemen who are going to be teaming up to go against Eddie Kingston and Hook. Once again, Eddie Kingston is babysitting Hook. And honestly, I didn't even really realize that this was happening. I guess they did a promo last night for Dynamite or Collision on Wednesday. So I'm not sure where that came from, but this is what we're getting. Honestly, we waited for almost a year and a half for Eddie Kingston to return, and this is what he's doing. And honestly, I'm just so disappointed with this, but whatever. Obviously, Hook and Eddie Kingston are going to win. I would be really upset if this was a squash situation because I am a fan of the Workhorsemen. They are amazing wrestlers, and I would absolutely hate to see them get squashed by Eddie Kingston and Hook. Now we have for 200K a tailgate brawl four way with tag teams here. Winner of this match will win 200K. I mean, like, y'all get 100 each. Y'all do the math. And we have Anthony Bowens teaming up with Max Caster. They hate each other. They want nothing to do with each other, but they got to team up with each other. They're going against the Outrunners and also going against who's that? Bullet Club Gold, which is Juice in Austin, and they're also going against Big Bill and Brian Keith. I'm looking forward to seeing all these teams together. To be honest with you, like, I feel like there's been some improvements within the tag division, but not too much. And I'm interested in seeing all these teams. For me, I well, who I want to win isn't necessarily what's going to happen. I would actually like to see Big Bill and Brian Keith take the win. But I feel like, I know this is going to be weird. I think it's really more of either Max Caster and Anthony Bowens or for Austin and Juice. I think I'm leaning a little bit more that Anthony Bowens and Max Caster would win, and maybe having a little extra money in their pockets might make them get along. All right, we have the CMLL trios titles on the line. We have El Sky Team going against Don Callis family, which is Hechicero, Okada, and Takeshita. I love that moment when Uncle Don said that it was going to be Takeshita that was going to be teaming up with Okada and Hechicero, because obviously there's like a million people within the Don Callis family, so it could have been someone else. And when it turned out that it was Okada going to be teaming with Takeshita again, the look on his face of disappointment, disgust, like, I don't want to be anywhere near this bitch. Like, he looks so upset about having to team up with Takeshita again. And then when you see Hechicero looks upset because he's just like, well, up until a moment ago, I thought I had a chance of winning the CMLL Trios titles. And honestly, with Takeshita and Okada bickering and everything, I doubt that that's happening. El Sky Team will retain. Now, main card, we have Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. So Bobby with the number one spot, Shelton with the number two spot, but they're both number ones in my heart. They are going to start the full gear casino gauntlet match, and the winner of this match will be the inaugural AEW national champion. We haven't seen the title, so I'm pretty sure. Right, I'm guessing. No, well, you know what I was gonna say before the match start, they might show the title. That is possible. We don't know what the title looks like. I'm thinking it's gonna be like a US type looking title where it's like the American flag or maybe the map of the United States, some shit like that. Or it might look something similar to the unified title. Anyway, um Shelton, I love Shelton. I love Bobby. I would love for them to win, but they're not my pick. My pick is Ricochet. Unless, and it's a big unless, I would just freaking ball out my seat, if anything, if we get a return, and the return is Switchblade Jay White. If Jay White returns at the Casino Gauntlet, Ricochet, who, my pick would be Jay White if he's going to be there. Now we don't know who's going to be there. We do know that Speedball and Kevin Knight's going to be there. Ricochet, I'm sure, would still be there. When we saw them in those matches, they were basically looking to get either number one spot or number two spot. So we already got that here with Shelton and Bobby. I'm so looking forward to see what it's going to look like with these two guys going at it for like, what, 5 minutes before the third person comes in. And I'm thinking maybe the third person will be Ricochet. So now they can stop focus on beating each other up and beat up Ricochet. But like I said, Ricochet is my pick only if we don't have Jay White returning. Now, for $1 million, we have Kenneth by God Omega teaming up with Jurassic Express to go against Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks. I am actually thinking, oh, this one right here, I actually really haven't thought about. I've just been happy to see Kenny back in the ring and Luchasaurus doing something too because I like them. They're cute. However, maybe it would be a little bit more beneficial in terms of storyline purposes for Josh and the Young Bucks to win. The Young Bucks, they broke, all right? They need the money anyway. And right now, they're kind of being sort of peer pressured into being in the Don Callis family because Uncle Don has been supplying the funds for them to do whatever the hell it is that they need to do since they don't have any more money. As of late, we've been seeing the Young Bucks look remorseful and definitely looking like they probably want to be friends with Kenny Omega again. And honestly, I don't necessarily see that Kenny wants that at this point. But if they were to lose, if Kenny team were to lose and the Young Bucks and Josh win, that might encourage them even more to want to be part of the Don Callis family. And I wouldn't mind them being part of that group. I am going with Josh and the Young Bucks for the win. Matter of fact, Joshua Express, didn't they just win like 500K the other day? They don't need the money unless Kenny's taking me out somewhere really nice like Aruba or France or some shit like that. I don't know. Josh and Young Bucks for the win. Now we have the four-way tag match. A winner of this match get to choose the stipulation for their match in the women's tag tournament. So the tag tournament is still going. So this is like a little bit of a pause within the tournament so the girls can get some TV time. I mean, I like the idea, but we could have just continued the tournament on the pay per view. That's probably what I would have done if it was me running things over there, but obviously I'm not. So we do have Megan Bain and Marina Shafir teaming up to go against Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, going against the Babes of Wrath, which is Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, and they'll also be going against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. For me, I don't. While I'm happy the girls are getting TV time, I'm not necessarily bothered in terms of who should win or who shouldn't win here. Whoever wins, just have an advantage of choosing a stipulation for their match that can be beneficial for them. I kind of just don't want to see Tony and Mina win, because they'll choose some stupid shit that will definitely work out for their advantage. And I don't want to see them beat Megan Bain and Marina Shafir. Honestly, for me in this one, it doesn't matter who takes the win. Now, after this, Pac, do y'all not see that man? Do y'all, I mean, just wow, he's just, oh my God. Pac going against Darby Allin in what's supposed to be a wrestling match, okay? Pure wrestling, if anything. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Maybe, well, let me not say the most. I'm looking forward to this because I want to see Darby Allin the wrestler come out. I don't want to see Darby Allin the daredevil that's always throwing himself around the arena and all this shit and doing all this crazy shit. Pac did an amazing promo on Wednesday, and he meant business. He was like, bitch, I promised you that I was going to kill you, and I'm sorry that I didn't break your neck like I promised I would, but this time I will. And it just seems like, Darby Allen, if Darby Allen truly wants to take a win over Pac, he's really going to have to play the same game that Pac is on. And Pac said, look, no shenanigans, no interruptions, no weapons, no nothing. It's just me and my hands in your face. And I was just like, yes, that's what I want. I would love to see Pac win. But I'm thinking that we're going to see Darby Allen take the win, whatever the hell they're doing with Darby and Death Riders. I am over it, but I still feel like there's a lot more to tell with that story that they really want to push along with Darby Allen just going through this entire group and perhaps giving them hell, if anything. While I would love to see Pac win, I think Darby will take the W. All right, no holds barred match with Jonathan Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly, I have been saying, like, I love Kyle. I just feel like he doesn't get an opportunity to um showcase how great of a wrestler he is. I am not bothered by if he were to win this match. I think that would be fine. No bother. I'm not bothered by it. My only thing is, what's the payoff? Like, what's going to happen from there? I need to continue to see Kyle O'Reilly. Whether if he wins or loses, you guys know that they're going to be announcing who's going to be in the Continental Classic next week, Wednesday. Well, I'm not actually sure if it's going to be next week, Wednesday, but that's when it actually starts on Wednesday next week. So I'm guessing maybe the day before, sometime before Wednesday, we'll find out who's in there. And Kyle O'Reilly, there's no excuse for him or Roderick not to be there. Um, I don't want to say it doesn't matter who takes the win, but the more L's that John Moxley take, the more that the rest of the Death Riders members will feel frustrated about him being, I guess, the leader of the group, maybe. And it's all going to add up. And who knows, they'll probably end up throwing him on the side of the road because they don't need him no more. My pick here, damn, I actually haven't even really thought about this. Well, for me, it doesn't matter who takes the win. I think it would be more beneficial for Kyle O'Reilly to finally beat John Moxley 1-on-1. Up next, we have for the AEW World title, we have FTR going against Brodito. I think FTR are going to win. They're going to start their thing with our stepdaddy Christian and Uncle Adam. I actually really do love Brodito. I think they're a great team. I would actually love to have seen a little bit more from them from their title reign. I never expected to really like this team together, but they have really great chemistry with each other. However, we do have the Ring of Honor World title on Bandito, which I feel like is not a priority at all. And we need to fix that. I understand that the company seem high on Bandito. I really like him too, but y'all have to be able to figure out the balance when y'all having multiple titles on people within AEW or and Ring of Honor. And honestly, it's taking a hit on the show with him not being there and not having other titles as well. Long story short, FTR for sure. And I'm pretty sure that's definitely going to lead into them continuing their feud with Christian and Adam Copeland. All right, the TNT title on the line, no DQ. If anyone, what was it? I think it's if anyone, no one from Don Callis family can get in the match, some shit like that. And if Mark Briscoe loses, he'll be part of the Don Callis family. Um, no, I don't think. did they not say anything about the interference? Well, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Whatever. The main point is, if Pastor Briscoe loses, then he is going to be part of the Don Callis family. So now, even more, I want Kyle Fletcher to win. Now, I'm not really sure what's going to actually end up happening, but I'm just thinking long term here. Mark Briscoe has been part of the conglomeration. He just goes out there, cut his little sermons, and he goes out there and delivers in the ring, and that's it. But that doesn't give him opportunities to do anything bigger. And I'm hoping that if he loses and him at some point, accepting the fact that he's part of the Don Callis family, will tap into that heel energy and he'll become a heel and finally go for what's his, which is the AEW world title with Hangman. Remember, he didn't win his match with MJF the first time when that opportunity was out there, and Hangman was just like, if you beat MJF, you can go ahead and lock up with me for the world title. It didn't happen, but he did ultimately end up beating MJF in their next match. And that opportunity hasn't rose for him to, be in the same spotlight along with the AEW world title scene. So he's back to doing conglomerations, foolishness, and he's feuding with Kyle Fletcher again. This is going to be like the sixth match that they're going to have, and that they're going to have. So honestly, I don't necessarily care too much about the match itself because I feel like we've seen quite a bit of it in like less than a year. However, they have to do the unpredictable thing, which is Mark Briscoe being part of Don Callis family. I know we're a fool in Don Callis family. However, this will be something different that people would not expect, and I think could work out in the long run. Now, after this, we have the AEW Women's title on the line. Chris Statlander going against Mercedes Moné. Chris Statlander will retain. I'm not worried about it. I'm not losing sleep over it. Nothing. Without getting into a rant, I just feel like Mercedes doesn't need this title at all. And maybe even long term, her not being able to get this title, her being able to, chase this title several times and losing it could make for a bigger story in the future when she actually does end up winning the title. But I will say that I just don't want to see Mercedes win this one. For so long, I mean, we've been, a lot of us have been watching AEW from either the beginning or whatever, a few years into it, whatever situation is. I've been wanting these women to have so much accomplishments in terms of getting titles. So I've been wanting, Chris Statlander to have a title like this. And, she hasn't really had it that long. But long story short, I do really like Mercedes, but I feel like if she were to win all the titles within AEW, this sends the wrong message for the women division. Because like for a lot of us who's been watching AEW for a really long time, we've been wanting these girls to have success. And honestly, it's just getting a little redundant with Mercedes having everything and bypassing everyone on the roster who has been putting in a lot of work within AEW and not being able to get any of these opportunities. So anyway, Chris Statlander for the win for me. Main event, we do have the beautiful Hangman Adam Page going against Samoa Joe for the AEW World Title, and this is going to be in a steel cage. Um, I don't, I, he, so look, we love reigning and defending champions. And even though Hangman didn't put the titles on the line against Hobbs and Shibata, he went out there and put in the work while Samoa Joe has been sitting there looking pretty, which is an advantage for Samoa Joe because he hasn't done anything while Hangman is all banged the fuck up with kinesio tape and wrapped up like a mummy and everything. And he has been putting in the work. So he's coming into the match definitely not 100%, probably I wouldn't even say 90%, not even 85. So he's coming in there while Samoa Joe hasn't had a match in a few weeks at least. Um, I don't see Joe winning this. Now, I would love to see Joe with the title again. I would love that, absolutely, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Steel cage match. There could be shenanigans in terms of Shibata or Hobbs getting involved. Well, or maybe not. But whatever situation is, I don't see Hangman losing it now. Yes, I know that there are people a lot of people who are complaining, saying that Hangman being champion is not what they expected or hoped for it to have been. And I don't think it has anything necessarily to do with Hangman itself. I just feel like it's something with the booking for sure in terms of the story and the feuds. Like, I do love Samoa Joe, but I wish bigger things would have been happening since he's won this title back in July at All In. Hangman definitely going to retain. All right, you guys, that's my predictions for the show. I think it's going to be a good show. They have an amazing roster with amazing wrestlers. So even when you don't care for the stories or whatever the hell's going on, the matches are always on point. So I'm hoping for another great pay per view from AEW this year. You guys, thanks so much for watching my video. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think is going to happen. And I see you guys on Saturday for Full Gear. You can watch with us on our watch along on my channel, or you can watch me after the show after the review is posted. See you guys then.